Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you like tech and helpful tips, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started.
The question of whether you can use a flux core welder to weld aluminum is a common one, especially for those new to welding or working with limited equipment. To cut straight to the chase, the answer is a resounding no. It is not practical, effective, or recommended to weld aluminum with a standard flux core welder. There are fundamental metallurgical and process differences that make this combination incompatible, leading to extremely poor results, if any fusion at all. First, let's understand what flux core welding is designed for. Flux core arc welding (FCAW) primarily uses a continuously fed tubular wire filled with flux. This flux, when heated by the arc, decomposes and produces a shielding gas that protects the molten weld pool from atmospheric contamination. It's a process generally favored for welding ferrous metals like steel, especially in outdoor or less than ideal conditions, because the internal flux provides its own shielding. The wire itself is typically steel-based. Aluminum, however, is a non-ferrous metal with entirely different properties and requirements. Aluminum forms a tough, tenacious oxide layer almost instantly when exposed to air, which has a much higher melting point than the aluminum itself. To achieve a clean, strong weld, this oxide layer must be removed or broken up, and the molten aluminum needs constant protection from oxygen. Flux core welding simply cannot provide the necessary conditions for this. The flux in flux core wire is designed to react with impurities in steel and produce slag, not to handle aluminum's unique oxidation characteristics. There is no commercially available flux core wire specifically designed for welding aluminum because the process itself is fundamentally unsuitable. Attempting to weld aluminum with a flux core welder would result in a multitude of problems. You would likely experience incredibly erratic arcs, poor penetration, and a complete lack of fusion between the aluminum pieces. The weld bead, if you could even call it that, would be extremely brittle, porous, and heavily contaminated, possessing virtually no structural integrity. The slag produced by the flux core would also be an unwanted contaminant on an aluminum surface. Furthermore, the wire feed system and gun liner in most flux core welders are designed for steel wire, which is harder and has different feeding characteristics than soft aluminum wire. Trying to push soft aluminum wire through a standard steel liner would lead to constant bird nesting and feeding issues. So, if flux core isn't the answer, what is? For welding aluminum, you typically need one of two primary processes: MIG welding with a spool gun or TIG welding. For MIG welding aluminum, you must use 100% pure argon shielding gas, special aluminum MIG wire, like 4043 or 5356 alloy, and preferably a spool gun. A spool gun minimizes the distance the soft aluminum wire has to travel, preventing feeding problems. The argon gas provides the inert atmosphere needed to protect the molten aluminum from oxidation. TIG welding, especially AC-TIG, alternating current, is often considered the gold standard for aluminum, offering precise control and clean, high-quality welds. AC-TIG specifically helps break up that stubborn oxide layer. In summary, while flux core welding offers convenience and versatility for steel, it is entirely unsuitable for aluminum. Using the correct process and equipment for aluminum welding is crucial for achieving strong, clean, and reliable joints. Don't waste your time or material trying to force a square peg into a round hole with flux core and aluminum. Invest in the right tools for the job, and you'll save yourself a lot of frustration and achieve far superior results. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe for more welding tips and insights.